My partner's platform operates within what's called a closed-loop system, meaning every product they offer is built with multiple security layers baked in. For example, with IRA accounts, you can only send or receive USD and approved crypto assets, and only after going through several verification steps. Premium custody accounts, PCAs, follow the same security principles, but with an extra safeguard. Withdrawals are only allowed in USD, and by design, they cannot be sent to outside crypto wallets. This is a huge security advantage. Even if you accidentally clicked on a malicious link or someone somehow got into your iTrust Capital account, the closed-loop setup would block them from transferring your crypto out. The only place withdrawals can go is the bank account you already have on file. Personally, I hold multiple accounts with them, both IRA and premium custody, and I've even transferred my XRP directly into my premium custody account. If you're interested in opening an account, you can visit at rustcapital.com/XRPArmy. They're currently offering a $100 funding bonus for new accounts when you use their promo code, so definitely check that out. As for XRP itself, it dipped for a bit, but now it's making a slow and steady climb back up. The total market cap is sitting at $3.95 trillion, and honestly, it feels like we're on the edge of something big. Over the past 2 days alone, whales have scooped up around 900 million XRP. On top of that, Ripple just shifted 20 million RLUSD from Ethereum over to the XRP ledger. That's straight from Zach Richter and the Ripple stablecoin tracker. You can see where this is heading. Vivo Power is set to gain exposure to 211 million XRP tokens as part of a $100 million deal to acquire privately held Ripple shares. At today's prices, that XRP exposure is worth about $696 million. Keep in mind, Ripple holds 41 billion XRP, which is roughly 41% of the total supply, with major backers like Andreessen Horowitz and Google Ventures. Once this deal is finalized, Vivo Power will become the first publicly traded U.S. company to give its shareholders indirect exposure to Ripple and its XRP holdings. And here's a fun fact. Adam Trademan is with Vivo Power now. You might remember him as the creator of the BRD wallet, the former CEO of SBI Mining Chip, and the head of SBI Ripple Asia. He's the same guy we've shown in past clips talking about how Yoshitaka Kitao, the CEO of SBI Holdings, made XRP adoption a top priority. Meanwhile, over in Bitcoin's so-called decentralized utopia, things aren't looking so rosy. Take a look at this. The situation behind the scenes with Bitcoin's development is far worse than I can openly talk about. I've had people share things with me in confidence, and I have to honor that. All I can say is, it's a mess, completely out of control. Now, I'm not exactly sure what one person in particular was referring to recently, but you don't have to just take my word for it. Here's an example straight from one of the Easy guys. A truth you won't hear. On CNBC, XRP was created as a better alternative to Bitcoin, and there's documented proof inside the EZA app. It all goes back to a post from May 27th, 2011, the spark that started it all. The post said something along the lines of, "I've been thinking, Bitcoin mining feels like such an unfortunate side effect of the system because it wastes so much energy. Wouldn't it be great to design a Bitcoin-like system that doesn't need miners?" You can find the full thing in the EZA app if you want to read it yourself. And then there's this narrative we've been fed over and over, that nobody builds on the XRP ledger, and that Ethereum is overflowing with development. But as Matt Hamilton, who's worked on both the XRP ledger and Ethereum, once said in a space I'll never forget, the reason Ethereum has so much development is because there are so many problems to fix. The XRP ledger simply didn't have those same issues. Meanwhile, Phil Kwok from EZA has been sharing screenshots of the flood of people messaging to join the EZA app, where they teach developers how to build on the XRP ledger. The writing is on the wall. Even Chad Steingruber is being level-headed about it. Right now, for XRP to hit the number 2 spot in market cap, it would need to be $9.45 to claim the number 1 spot, $40.95. And with the sex case against Ripple finally closed last week. As Commissioner Hester Peirce said, it's time to focus on building a clear regulatory framework instead of wasting resources in court. Former SEC Chair Paul Atkins even agreed, saying now is the time to foster innovation while protecting investors. Somebody get that man a beer. And remember what we were told? Bitcoin was going to replace gold. Well, according to Donald Trump, gold won't be hit with tariffs. Funny, I thought gold was irrelevant now. At least that's what the Bitcoin crowd kept telling us. Alright, let's talk ETFs. Nate Geraci has been tracking what he calls a boatload of new crypto ETF filings. And here's what that actually means. All three major stock exchanges, NYSE, NASDAQ, and CBOE, have filed with the SEC for generic listing standards for crypto ETFs. Translation: once this framework is in place, the exchanges won't need separate approvals for every single spot crypto ETF, as long as they meet certain guidelines. This would massively speed up the approval process. That's a big deal, because we've already got filings for XRP ETFs, Solana ETFs, Cardano, HBAR, the list goes on. If the standardized framework rolls out in the next couple of months, expect the floodgates to swing wide open. We're talking wave after wave of new crypto ETFs hitting the market. And 2025 has already been huge for ETF inflows. $26 billion into spot crypto ETFs so far, with $19 billion going into Bitcoin and $7 billion into Ethereum. In July alone, Bitcoin ETFs pulled in $6 billion, and Ether ETFs brought in $5.5 billion. Interest in Ether ETFs, in particular, has spiked lately. 8 of the top 10 biggest inflow days since their launch happened just in the past month. The regulatory winds are also shifting in a big way. We've got the Genius Act stablecoin legislation signed into law, the Clarity Act passing the House, the SEC launching Project Crypto, and even former SEC Chair Paul Atkins talking about bringing financial markets on-chain. Plus, the SEC just gave the green light to in-kind creations and redemptions for Bitcoin and Ether ETFs, and clarified their stance on liquidity staking tokens. Bottom line, institutional investors and advisors are feeling more confident than ever about getting into crypto. But here's the twist you won't hear on mainstream TV eventually. Altcoin inflows will swamp Bitcoins. Bitcoin and Ethereum have enjoyed a regulatory monopoly for years. Ethereum, thanks to Bill Hinman, but that's ending. When advisors across the country can offer Bitcoin, sure, that's bullish in the short term, but it also opens the door for massive money to flow into other digital assets. And speaking of timing, yes, Bitcoin's climbing. Yes, Trump's administration has been crypto-friendly. Yes, big banks like Bank of America haven't even jumped in yet. That's all fuel for more upside. But then, Jim Cramer dropped the ultimate curveball. He says Bitcoin's a solid hedge against financial collapse. Now you know what that means. Time to buy XRP. History has shown if Cramer's bullish on something, well, let's just say, I'm looking elsewhere. And by the way, over on diexrp.com or Patreon, if that's your style, we go into this stuff in full, no commercial deep dives. You can also join through YouTube or subscribe via X every so often. I run across an account that makes me stop and pay attention. There's a new one talking about XRP in a way that tells me they know things. And trust me, we're going to dig into that. Remember, I'm an investor, not a financial advisor. This is entertainment, not investment advice. If you like the deep dives, hit subscribe, tap like, and share it with your friends and family. And now, here's that mystery account.